Here in my state of Ohio, it may be different where you live. In order for a person to declare bankruptcy, they have to have obligations that meet or exceed 75% of their take home pay. And it doesn't matter the amount of money you make every year, but if your level of obligations that you have to send out are at 75% or more, you qualify for bankruptcy, a complete bankruptcy. And once you do that complete bankruptcy, no creditor can come hounding you. Now, for some people, you may be able to keep your automobile or your house, provided that you make the monthly payment that was required in that contract. Now, when it comes to our United States, President Donald J. Trump has had to do some cutting of things because we bought more than we sold. We have more money going out than we have coming in. Something has to be cut. I'm sure if you and your husband, you and your children have ever got together about the family budget and you get to a time in the month where, oh my goodness, we're paying more out than we brought in from our work, you always start cutting. You start cutting what you're buying at the grocery store. All of a sudden, you care about that light that's on in the bathroom. Oh, we got to cut that off. You care about the, cable channels that you have. What exactly are we watching? And why are we paying for things that we're not watching? Do you know I have almost all my family, except for me, has gotten rid of cable. Why? It's expensive. So when it comes to our United States, we cannot imagine or should not think that our own president, when he looks at the balance sheet, if he sees that we are spending more money than we're taking in, how can we think that we don't need a reckoning with our budget? And so when I look at the news articles about people being let go from federal jobs, there's nothing new here. I've been through lots of buyouts. I've been through lots of mergers. And the first thing that goes is personnel. You always need that computer. You always, unfortunately, need that building for which I need to operate out of. But sometimes you don't always need the personnel. And for those jobs for which we had openings for, well, now we're not going to have those openings. And those jobs that we no longer are going to fill, those positions get included in the job loss numbers. And so it makes those job losses look a lot bigger than they actually are. So what I care about is if you are someone who is in that position where you have been let go of, what talents do you possess to get up and get moving again? So I'm in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, and I'm going to read verses 14 to 30. And it says, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a man traveling to a far country who called his own servants and delivered his goods to them. And to one he gave 5 talents, to another 2 talents, and to another 1, to each according to his own ability. And immediately he went on a journey. Then he who had received the 5 talents went and traded with them and made another 5 talents. Likewise, he who had received 2 gained 2 more talents. But he who had received 1 went and dug in the ground and hid his Lord's money. After a long time, the Lord of those servants came and settled accounts with them. So he who had received 5 talents came and brought 5 other talents, saying, Lord, you delivered to me 5 talents. Look, I have gained 5 more talents besides these. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You were faithful over a few talents. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. He also, who had received 2 talents, came and said, Lord, you delivered to me 2 talents. Look, I have gained 2 more talents besides these. His Lord said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter into the joy of your Lord. Then he who had received 1 talent came and said, Lord, I knew you to be a hard man, reaping where you have not sown and gathering where you have not scattered seed. And I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the ground. Look, there you have what is yours. But his Lord answered and said to him, You wicked and lazy servant. You knew that I reap where I have not sown and gather where I have not scattered seed. So you ought to have deposited my money with the bankers, and at my coming I would have received back my own with interest. Therefore, take the talent from him and give it to him who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has more will be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who does not have, even what he has will be taken away. And cast the unprofitable servant into the outer darkness. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I know that it is a shock when you lose a job, but think about your talents. 50% of my customer base in my financial industry I've worked in for 25 years are all small business owners. They are plumbers, electricians, they are welders, they are mechanics, they're roofers, they're home builders. Some of them bake. Only one is an attorney. Only one is a doctor. But 50% of them do not have children for which they can pass down that family business to. I implore you, if you have lost your federal job, but while you're waiting to fill that job, look at your own family. How many of you come from families with family businesses? And that family business, at least up until now, did not have an heir to pass it down to. It would be a great time for you to take on a new talent. You may have been a great accountant. Well, what's wrong with you becoming a great plumber? Help your father, help your brother, help your uncle, and build up that family business. With my customer base being, blue collar workers, they're self employed and they're happy. They are able to buy their homes with cash. They tend to be in professions that require cash to get the business done. Therefore, they have cash to buy that very nice home that is able to keep them and their families happy, healthy. And on top of it, they make sure to balance their budget to the penny every month, every week, every day. This too can be accomplished by you. So have hope. Get busy and get into the understanding that God has provided you more talent than you possibly knew you had. I'm Belinda. It's great to be with you. Have a great day in the Lord.